who you're trying to speak to, and then obviously speaking in their language. So using words and showing up in, social circles or networks where they're going to be is really an effective way to start to connect on a deeper level where they actually feel seen and heard and understood. And in doing so, you instantly create that trust and credibility that down the road, they hopefully come back and choose you because you are speaking their language and you're making sense to them on a level that other agents might not be getting to. So it's a really important practice, and I encourage agents to take the time to drill down to identify who it is I want to speak to. We can't just say, I want to buyers or sellers. No, drill down. Is it first-time home buyers? Is it investor buyers? Is it people upsizing their home? Is it people downsizing their home? The challenges and realities in all those different markets is different. So we have to go a level deeper.
What an amazing answer. And if we have time, we will try at the end to give examples of how we can create that. And I believe between all of us that is here today, with our different ways of going about it, we can create probably a very good avatar if somebody out there is looking for an idea of how to create one. Tony, how do you go about creating or preparing to create your market activities based on your avatar?
So usually
Dave,
here,
you want to come here?
sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So here, usually with the clients that I work with, I kind of like to provide value up front, especially when I do meet them. Because I do work with a lot of people relocating from other cities to where I live. So a lot of them don't have guidance on who to talk to or who to go to for certain things like mortgage brokers and all that. So I like to, when my very first like conversation with new clients, I like to ask them, and I like to provide like a lot of value and helping them and deciding why they're actually moving here or why they're buying a home and all those things that kind of tie into their purchase. And if they have family coming, I just kind of like to become the go-to person. If they need somebody for mortgages, they need a contractor for the basement. I like to provide that all up front and kind of be their go-to or their one-stop shop when I'm working with a lot of clients because it tends to keep coming and referrals keep coming through after that.
Yes, very good point. Jason.
Yes.
So when it comes to preparing for your marketing activities, how do you go about on creating your avatar?
I think just like we were saying before, the common things is just asking questions and not being so quick to, tell and talk. I think a lot of us have a tendency to, we have all these wonderful, systems and processes and websites and all kind of things. We are so excited to tell and show people because when they see it, they're going to love us. And we think that's what's going to make them want to work with us. But instead of, just talking and, kind of vomiting everything on those people, just slowing down and maybe asking them some like questions like we were saying, so tell me more about your needs, like what's important to you, what are you looking for, in this process, what do you feel is most important, for our meeting. So I think it's just really trying to, slow down and, ask those more personal questions to really find out what's most important to them and not being so quick to just tell.
Amazing. All right. So now I want to go through the questions that we had, but I want to frame how I want the audience to look at this because as you guys are out there in the audience today, if you listen to the conversation that we are going to have, but have a way of thinking through them, you notice something that I will reveal at the end. Okay. So it's kind of a pay attention kind of game. I'm going to start with you, Jason. Your question was based on agent attraction. as we talk about the client avatar, and we are talking about clients in real estate, when I look at your question, I think of how do we want to serve these agents, right? Before us, there was the big agent meeting. There is a tool now on EXP where you can go to get ideas. Are you currently doing agent attraction? And do you have an avatar for how to attract those agents?
Yeah, I think, all of us, I think, are in some way, shape, or form, doing agent attraction, trying to, some of us may want to grow a huge, mega team. Other agents maybe just want, one or two agents on their team just to help with buyers or, potential listings. So I think all of us, are doing that in some way. I think that, like you mentioned too, is just making sure, trying to find a way to find the right, person for the team. Because we all know the expression, one bad apple can ruin the bunch. So with the intent of trying to serve our clients and making sure we're giving them the best service we can, just trying to find a way to navigate, I mean, anybody can go out there and find someone that has a license and can fog a mirror and say, hey, jump on the team. But it's just trying to make sure we're finding those right people that align with our goals or what our mission statements are and how we're going to be effectively able to serve our clients. So I think that was kind of my question too, and just trying to, see what, what's the best way and how everyone is doing that. I know there's, lots and lots of ways, but, we're always trying to keep our eyes open. I think when you see somebody out there that might be a good fit or, might align with the way you serve your clients, just trying to make that introduction or have a quick conversation. Because, a lot of times those agents maybe, are struggling and maybe need the support a team can offer. And sometimes the teams have that, need that person that to fill that space. So if it can be a win-win, usually that's going to be, the best case scenario.
Yes. Tony, Victoria, and Garrett, any of you want to jump in on this topic?
On agent attraction?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I've created an avatar because I'm at my heart, I'm very much a nerd on it, but I'm not really big on. I don't want to grow a team. That's not my goal. I have other goals, but not a team. I don't want other people on there. So it's like trying to find it in a different way for agent attraction. But I've been production mostly, and I'm still focusing on production. But I am open and exploring agent attraction.
I see. So, I'm gonna say something on this, and this is based on my own experience. I've tried the agent attraction, and when I say I tried, it's not that it doesn't work, is that I found it that I was splitting my focus, and therefore I wasn't having the success that I needed. I believe the foundation of success in real estate lies in clarity, as I was saying at the beginning. Knowing who you are setting your goals for, attracting, or serving allows us to build strategies that align with personal fulfillment, professional growth, and market realities, meaning the ups and downs of the market. Personal and professional goals often are intertwined, but separating them is critical. Personal goals are emotional, while professional goals it's a must balance logic and emotions. That leads us to the second question, which was from, I believe, was Victoria. Your question here was, let me see, where did I have?
I always have lots of questions.
Yes, but this is gonna tie in. How to set up goals.
Oh,
As we approach 2025, what is the process of setting goals and but not vanity goals, right? Because we all know that sometimes you just go and create all these panels and ideas and goals, but at the end of the year, you just look back and like, okay, where did that all go? So on that, this is where I think we can connect all the dots. If you're an agent who are doing clients in agent attraction. The goals need to have some type of clarity, meaning I want to do this many transactions. I want to attract this many agents. But now at the same time, you have to split the time that you're going to spend marketing for each of them. So coming back to you, Victoria, on the writing of a book, for example, can you split your attention and write 2 books
No.
at the same time?
Absolutely not. I mean, just so the audience knows, I'm a USA Today bestselling author. I've written over 100 books, and absolutely my answer is no. If I tried to write 3 at a time, I'm not going to write any. I have to write 1 at a time. I have to understand these characters deep, and it has to go 100% in depth. If I try to split my hair, nothing's going to get done. And I'm pretty good at focusing, but I can't focus on multiple. Multitasking is the death of any business.
Garrett, how do you think about this process?
When it comes to goal setting, I agree wholeheartedly. There's an old Chinese proverb: if you try to chase 2 balls at the same time, you won't catch either of them. So I'm a big believer in putting the blinders on, so to speak, and really focusing on one thing at a time. I think it's really easy in our industry to get caught up with the list of activities. You go on websites, you go on Google, YouTube, you can find 200 different ways to generate leads. And it's easy for agents to, I'm going to do 5 different things. I'm going to do 6 different things. My recommendation and what I learned is that by focusing in and getting really good at one thing, maybe 2, you will do more positive for your business than if you're trying to do 6 different things. Because when you're doing 6 different things at once, you're not doing any of them really well. And at the end of the day, this business is about building trust, credibility, expertise, and being seen as an expert by your clients and prospects. And I put the blinders on. We're all guilty of it. It's easy to get caught up comparing ourselves to somebody else. We see something working for them. We want to try it. We're all different people. We all have different skills. And what works for one might not work for another. So find what works for you, what you like to do, lean into it, and you'll find more success doing that than you will in just chasing the next shiny ball.
So true. So true. Tony.
Yeah, like Garrett said, honestly, same thing. You don't want to get too distracted on chasing too many things. Like when I started, I was doing a bunch of other things, which was making me not go 100% in real estate. So I was doing some deals and working on another project and doing that, trying to figure out the golden formula. And then this year I stuck it down, stick to one thing, which changed my business drastically. So like I said, so it's good to focus on one thing and go 100% at it, and then keep building from there. Once you establish that, and you can kind of have it on like almost like an autopilot, you keep going. And then back to like the agent attraction. So when I was coming in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do agent attraction plus sell houses, which is almost impossible to do it both consistently. So this year was a lot of production. I was like, okay, let me relax on the agent attraction and then stick to just selling houses. So now I did that. Now maybe for 2025, I'll go back into it, looking to attract more agents to come to EXP and stuff. But this 2024 was mostly built on selling homes, bringing value to my clients, and being there 100%.
Amazing, amazing. Tony.
Yes.
All right. So this gets me back to the next question, which was from Garrett. Your question was how to navigate the market shifts that we have, especially like this year was very, very ups and downs. and I was listening to the big agent meeting before us, and they were giving some stats, and basically there were lots of agents who left the marketplace, and the transactions were down compared to other years. I believe it went to the levels of 1990s. It was worse than 2008. And they were talking about the difference of the agents that actually still had success and the ones that didn't have any success and the ones that actually left the market, right? And this keeps coming back to the same thing. What are we focusing on? So, in coming to these navigating shifts of the market, Garrett, how do you go about this, and what do you think we should be looking into when we want to make sure we have the right strategies to navigate these shifts?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, it's leveraging your networks. So, talking with other agents, but also talking with people in the finance industry, mortgage brokers, financial advisors, people who are very, very knowledgeable in what the market is forecasted and projected to do, and then taking it and spinning it back to, like I talked about off the top, your ideal client and how will this impact their lives, and what decisions will they have to make? Will it be about downsizing their home because inflation has gone up significantly, their wages haven't followed, they now find themselves in a bit of a crunch, their mortgage is coming up for renewal, what does it mean? So again, it goes back to listening and asking questions of your network outside of just realtors, and then taking that information, bringing it back to your ideal client. I know I might sound like a broken record, but for me, that's what I do is I go back and I think, how will this impact the people I want to talk to and the people I want to do business with? Because market shifts will impact us all differently depending on life stage, depending on if we have kids or not, depending on where we live. We heard about it in the
Mm-hmm.
previous meeting. Certain markets are primed for certain changes this year based on the composition of that market. So really understanding your market and then going back to it and asking yourself, how will this impact the people I want to serve? And then further to that, what is the solution or recommendations I can provide, be it through social content, newsletter, phone calls, emails, all my different touch points? How can I speak their language so that they know I'm doing my homework, I have my information, and now I'm going to present some solutions and options for them to consider? Because something we use in our business is I want to encourage my clients to make the best decision for them. What one client might decide to do will be different than another, but at the end of the day, it's about them making the best decision for themselves. So staying on top of those market shifts is really about leaning in and leveraging your network to just get more information, because more information means you can make a more informed decision.
Amazing, amazing. Um, yes, I totally agree. And the first step is based on what you're saying, it's analyzing your business, um, and finding the different types of clients that you have, and sharpen your skills on what's happening on the market, keeping up to date, probably improving your systems, basically getting the right tools to keep you update. And like you said, if your client have different lifestyles, have kids, no kids, or depending where they live, all of this basically comes down to the preparation. It's what I'm seeing here. So the more prepared we are, the better we're going to serve our client.
Could I
So
answer that really quick, if you don't mind?
please, yes.
I just want to add in being knowledgeable, being on top of a game, doing the research. 100% we should do that. But I also feel this year there was, I mean, we iconed, right? And why? There's a basic thing we missed, and I think that's mindset that you really have to kind of focus on. I just kind of wanted to add that really quickly, because if you believe, like, I could watch the news and find horrible things happening all the time and get so depressed about every single thing everywhere, right? I could let all of that energy in, and I could and then focus on, the world is awful, or I can focus on what is my place in the world and what's important, and I should know what it is. So it's just your mindset when you're looking at all this information, because if you look at everything in a negative way, you're going to see negativity. And if you look at things in a positive way and how you can help people, I feel like mindset is something we didn't discuss, and I feel like that is something that we should definitely push forward, because if you believe you are helpful to somebody, you're going to be helpful to somebody.
Wow. Well, thank you, Victoria, for jumping in, because this is something that I can attest to. I don't watch the news. And as you mentioned, I was missing to clear that one out. I definitely don't watch the news, and I do that on purpose. If I need to find out anything about the market, I'm going to look on my own sources. I look up my own sources and I get that. Now, we also need to understand that I'm not saying don't watch TV or don't watch the news, because we also need to be aware of what our clients are thinking based on what they're watching. But to prepare the mindset, what we put in is what will come out. If we keep watching negative stuff, our words, even if we don't want to say that way, it come across as negative as well. So that is so true. Tony, how do you see your navigation through these ups and downs of the market, and how you prepare yourself?
Honestly, I don't personally, for myself, like Victoria said, I like to look at everything in a positive way. I'm a very happy person. I don't like to feel like, oh, interest rates have increased, the market is going to slow down. At the end of the day, there's always somebody looking to buy a property. It's just you have to get out there and find that person looking to buy. Things might be slower, but at the end of the day, this is our career, this, our job, this, our lifestyle. We always have to find a way to navigate through the ups and downs, either by doing more open houses, going and running online leads, posting more on Facebook or Instagram, just being out there informing the buyers and other people that people are still buying houses, people still need a place to live and sleep, and just keep going from there.
Yes. Jason, so how do you prepare your mind, your mindset, and how do you navigate the markets? What ideas what strategies do you use?
Yeah, there's a couple things, but I want to start off. I love what Victoria said. I think that's actually, I was going to say a few other things, but when she said that, that's one thing that I think we forget is like with the mindset of, a lot of times like in this market and when things are, down and numbers are down, even my team, it's kind of like doom and gloom and everybody's looking for the bad, but I actually make them all, I'll say, hey, and we all know this too. I tell them, I'll say, log on the MLS. Has there ever been a day, and everybody can answer this for themselves, has there ever been a day where you've seen on the MLS there has been 0 sales or 0 new listings? Like ever. No matter what date, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, holidays, bad market, crashes, short sale days. I don't think there's ever been a day that there's been a 0 under sales for any day. So like I say, I always tell them, I'll say, what, kind of like what you were saying too, is, don't get wrapped up in all the news, the negativity. And, if you think you're going to have a great day and you wake up and you think that, you're probably going to be right. But if you think, no one's buying, it's even now, we're 2 weeks before the holidays, it's December, I'm sure nobody's going to do anything right now. Well, guess what? You're right. I mean, and you're not going to have success versus if you get up and you're thinking, what, I've got 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the year. I know someone's out there looking to do something quickly and then they need to get something wrapped up before the end of the year. I just have to go find them. You're going to be right. So anyways, I think that was kind of took over what I was going to say, but that's even more important is just, especially right now, is just having that mindset. And I love the thing about the news. We all get sucked in, and if you look at the news, if you turn it on, it's all bad. You never turn on the news and hear about good things. It's always like how many murders and how many this and robberies and car accidents. And then once in a while they'll slip in there like, oh, we're building a new rec center, in the downtown that gets a 30-minute blurb at the end. So I think that, just being very protective of what you're listening to and putting in your head, especially right now, is one of the things that we try to focus on as well.
Yes. You reminded me of a conversation I had at my family's gathering on Thanksgiving. And it went basically like this. Somebody said, the real estate market is not good. People are not buying houses that they used to, and things are not going well. And my answer to that comment was like, okay, and where did you get that information? And the person was like, well, if you watch the news, that's what they're saying. I'm like, okay, now, do you believe more at what they say on the news or what I have to say to you? Because I'm going to tell you what happened to me this year, where everybody's saying that it is bad, right? We decided to focus on our client avatar. Last year, 2023, we closed 31 transactions. This year, we are ending the year with 47. That is a growth of more than 50%. When transactions are going down, agents are leaving the market, and interest rates is sky high, according to the news. So what is the difference here? Why is that so different? To your point, people don't stop buying and selling because what's going on in the economy. They need to sell, they are going to sell. If they need to buy, they are going to buy. It's the mindset. We chose to focus on our client avatar and find out what was the pain point they were having. We brought to them the solution, and we had the transactions. Mm-hmm. And this is what I want you guys all to see from this conversation. Everything we are talking about, whether if you're talking about agent attraction, client attraction, ups and downs of the market, or setting up your goals, it comes down to knowing yourself, knowing your own avatar, or creating your own profile to set up your goals professionally and personally. And if you're talking about your clients and your agents that you are attracting, knowing what is the avatar, the profile that you are looking for, whether you're looking to attract agents for EXP, meaning independent agents that will come to EXP and they're going to be on their own and successful. That's one type. Versus you are attracting agents to be part of the organization that you are already part of in EXP. That's a different one. Or you are attracting agents to be part of your own team. That's going to be a completely different one. Because the needs of these agents, these profiles, these avatars, going to be different. So knowing the specifics of that helps you navigate your marketing strategies. If you're setting up your goals and you know your client avatar, and you go like, okay, I'm going to focus this year on first-time buyers that are married with kids, that speaks Portuguese, that lives in Lowell, Massachusetts. That is very niched. That is very defined. And somebody may go like, but Leo, aren't you just eliminating a lot of possibilities here? No. By creating the client avatar, you are just defining where your focus is. Everything else that comes extra, you still can help these clients, you still can help these agents, but your focus, your marketing budget, your marketing strategies, your stories, your the points that you're going to talk to on your content has to be based on that client avatar. Thinking of all this, you guys think we are able, I believe we have some time to create a client avatar for, let's just come up with the description of an avatar and try to think of tools that we can use to help the audience have something actionable that they can do.
Okay.
You guys?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's think of this. I believe the client idea is going to be easier for everybody else. So let's say we want to start in a new market, right? What tools would you use or comes to mind that we can discover the best type of avatar to create for that new market?
Well, for me, I'm going to do something very nerdy here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm a new. I need to know who I am, who I speak to, because I don't think I could speak to Portuguese first-time home buyers because I couldn't. It's not who I am. So I have to know who I am, and then I also need to know who they are. So I have to define what I can talk about, and I'm going to look at a specific area. I'm going to look at the price points of these homes, and then this is where I told you I'm going to get very nerdy on this. And I'm going to look at the price points. I'm going to see how much people have to afford in order to buy these certain price points of these homes, and then I'm going to go to the census data. And then I'm going to look up what areas these people work in that can afford these homes that I want to target. How much do they make? What are the actual most likely positions that they work at? What companies do they work at? And then kind of build from behind. Like I'm going to go to the census data in a very detailed oriented way and say, what are the professions that pay this much money? And then how can I react to these people? And then if they're all, I'm not a golfer, but I can go to a party if I need to, but I need to know I have to be targeted with that, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And I can tell everybody in the audience and whoever is here as well that RPR, it's a tool from the National Association of Realtors that has all these capabilities. What you described, if you go to RPR, there is a step-by-step guide on how to create exactly that.
Exactly.
You can select the area. You will know all these census data. They have it there, and it helps you create all these steps. So that is amazing. So once we create that, right? Let's say I'm going to speak about the way I did mine, so maybe it's easier for you guys to help me. Why did I choose the Portuguese speaking? It's because it was easier for me. Easier in which way? I was competing with over 17,000 agents in my state for clients. That's how I looked at it. I'm like, where is the area that I will have less competition? Where is the least amount of agents? Portuguese speaking. Since I speak that language, I chose that side. But in the sense that everybody speaks English, what are the areas that I can see that happening? For example, if you are married, an agent, and you are married and have kids, it's much easier for you to speak of experience, of your own experience of buying a house, than if you try to, let's say, move into Los Angeles and try to go sell houses to celebrities, right? In a sense of comfortability, it's much comfortable for you to speak about buying a house as a family than buying a house as an investor, for example. But if you are knowledgeable on the investing area, I believe that's an avatar you can create. So Garrett, Tony, and Jason, how do you guys see this scenario playing?
I guess I'll jump in here. I think, you know, one of the things to do, or one of the things that we do is, I think, like you said, is to play this out, is to go back and maybe look and see before, you know, in the last year, what have been some things that have worked. I mean, a lot of us, there's 1,000 different ways to get business. You know, you can do open houses, for sale by owners, call expired, social media, you know, the list goes on and on. But I think all of us, if we go back and look and see, hey, in the last 12, 24 months, you know, what has stood out that has been the majority of our business, and then almost kind of double down. And like we were saying before, is instead of, you know, adding on and, you know, becoming a, you know, jack of all trades and a master of nothing, to try to find out, you know, hey, in the last year and a half, this is what's really been a very profitable and a very productive source of, you know, happy clients, and really kind of focus on maybe getting rid of some of the other fluff and the things that are, you know, onesie twosie deals, and maybe doubling down on those things that we know that we're very good at and that we can do to, you know, make sure we're serving those clients in the best way possible.
Yes. Anybody else want to comment on this one, or can we move on?
Really quickly, just I'm going to add ChatGPT, just because what you could do these days is amazing, and even better, you can take all that data that you might not even have realized, and you can really take that Excel spreadsheets of everything you've gathered in different places, and you can plop it in ChatGPT, and it's going to write like buyer personas with you, so you don't have to just try to look at the data alone in and of itself. It can say, hey, what are the 3 most common types in this area, and it will give it to you if you feed that the right information, so you don't have to do as much like data searching as you did before.
That is such a great idea, Victoria. Talking about that is something else that was mentioned on the previous ICONversations. How are we keeping up with the new technologies that are coming into the market? Because yes, before we didn't have all these computerized tools that would help us, but some way, somehow, you wrote books, and a lot of us agents had success. But today, in the era that we are in, all these tools are making so much easier if you know how to use them. And this is where one of the things that I wrote down here as I was preparing, on the downtimes, by analyzing your business, by logging all the transactions, like whoever was speaking here before, I don't know if it was Jason or Gary, by analyzing all and logging your transactions, it helps identify the patterns of slow periods. For me, here on the area where I am, it's between like December and March. And then the busy periods are the other months of the year. Once we know these cycles for us, then we can maximize these down times. And this is where we go like to sharpen our skills, improve the systems, plan vacations. But here's something else that I also want to call attention to. Plan financially for the down months. But the only way we can plan for those down months is by actually taking the time to analyze our yearly transactions. And we have a spreadsheet with at least the last 5 years in real estate, where we can go back and analyze if the downtimes are being due to economy change, or it's just seasonal downtimes. The seasonal downtimes we can predict because it's seasonal. But the market activities, we can't, because we can't time the market. But by having that financial planning for the downtimes, having that money set aside, that helps us not to get to this moment of the year and have this panic moment. Oh my gosh, what's the next month? Because that's how a lot of these agents that left the market today had no other option. It's because there was probably no preparation there, right? But we are here for a reason. So what do you guys think about this point?
I love that, Leo, and I'm a big spreadsheet guy too. And I think it helps us be more prepared and less reactionary if we understand what our market's doing and when. And same thing up here in Alberta, 75% of all real estate transactions happen between March and October. So I know, and I need to plan and be prepared to be more active kind of in the business, so to speak, during those months and doing the transactions and all of the particulars that come with that. And then on the outside months, which we're in right now, I can be working on my business and setting up my plan for 2025 and looking ahead and knowing and understanding the market is such a key reality that I think sometimes gets overlooked. And I love your comment about preparing for and using it in terms of the downtimes, like use that to really map out and leverage your time. It doesn't mean you put your feet up and you just shut it down. It actually means you go to work and you lay the foundation for your business. The foundation for your business to move into the new year. And I think we're all in a position right now where using the next period of time can really set us up for success in 2025. You're as busy as you want to be in real estate. And the highest producers, the people that really lean in and commit to this as a full-time job, not just a hobby, are the ones who can really leverage and make the most of this time right now, which it might be quieter transactionally. It doesn't mean you have to be quieter in terms of the activities you're doing to build and understand and then plan for your next year. So I'm on the same page as you and agree wholeheartedly. Let's use this time to really build a foundation for success.
Yes, and I want to piggyback on what you said, Garrett. Talking about goals, let's think about this. Do you want, because most of us agents probably have kids, we have families, we don't just do real estate, we have to take care of our families throughout everything else that we do. But when setting up goals, one of the mistakes I did at the beginning is that I didn't consider, do I want to pick up my kids from school every day? Do I want to spend time with them, helping them with homework? Do I have time for family vacations? Did I plan that on my goal setting, right? Because if we define these priorities, then we can build professional goals around them. For some, that might mean closing 30 transactions a year. For others, it might mean 100. Both are valid, but as long as we have them aligned, the personal and the professional goals, then we have a fulfilled life. If we don't align these goals, then we achieve the numbers, the activities, but at the end of the year, we look back and like, man, I'm not feeling so great because of everything else that we have in our family, on our personal life. So as we talk about the goals, what do you guys think of these points that I just put it out? Do you guys think this is valid or it's just specific to me?
No, it's completely valid. I like, for instance, I remember one client, I was happy that she fired me because I was going to take my kids to school at 8 o'clock in the morning and she wanted to see houses every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. And there was no reason. I was like, I can meet you at 8:30. And she said, no, but I said, well, then we can't do it. I'm going to take my kids to school. Like, you have to be okay with your goals too, because you have to take like for me, I have to take my kids to school. It is how it is.
Great point. And I can give you something that we are doing. I don't know if you guys do this, but we learned to do this. We block our calendar, right? Mm-hmm. We use Calendly. Yeah. That's how we use our calendar. Any client that wants to do business with us has to go to our Calendly link and pick the time that are available on the Calendly. If there is no time available on the day they are looking for, guess what? They need to pick the next one available. We are busy. And this is another mindset that I had to learn. I didn't like scheduling things at all. But that worked while I was an employee at some place. When we come to work for ourselves, oh my gosh. And the moment we created the Calendly link, and all the clients now schedule things through the Calendly link, or if we want to schedule a house to be shown to everybody or to a client, we go to the calendar and find the time that's available, because in there, when we set our goals, there is already a time to take kids to school. So we know we can't schedule anything on that time. And the client, if they go to schedule, it's not going to be available. And then there is a time where we take time off. Literally, we take time off to read a book, go to church, do something with the family. And the last 12 months, we looked back, because we analyzed just a week ago, it was over 300 appointments, Zoom meetings, because we don't have physical offices anymore. Over 300 Zoom meetings that were scheduled, that we talked with our clients. And that was such a shift on our stress level, because there's no stress on like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with it? No, the client already goes there, set the schedule, and just comes up on our appointments. Is there any tools that you guys use that make it easy on your planning for your weekly schedules or your calendar? How do you guys do about this?
I just want to quickly add, you gave me hope for Calendly, because I just ordered it this month. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to finally, I got off all the other things. I was like, I'm just going to Calendly. So I'm glad you said that, because I'm like, oh, data, I love it. Sorry.
Anybody else? All right.
I use a shared calendar.
There you go.
And map everything in. Everything goes into a Google Calendar, and you can put in, we color code. So my wife and I are a husband and wife real estate team. So we color code. We put in any important appointments, if it's a conditional removal day, if it's a possession day, if it's a key release day, if we've got a meeting, all of it goes into our shared Google Calendar. And then we can make sure we're not overbooking ourselves, and we can carve out that specific time for, family, kids, life, all of those particulars. So it's worked for us very, very well.
That's very good. We started with the shared calendar as well. And just so you guys know, I don't know if it's the same level that you guys are using. We literally took classes on how to use the Calendly, because it's very powerful. And we decided to go with the paid version. I get nothing from Calendly, just so you guys know. I'm just saying how I use this tool that helped us. We have both of our calendars connected to Calendly. So if I schedule something on my calendar, it doesn't show to the public what it is that's scheduled. It just says unavailable. Same for my wife. So what the client sees just blocks of times. But to your point, I have as well the calendars into a shared calendar with color codes and everything. We can see the individual appointments, but my wife, when she goes to the Calendly, all that is there is just blocked times. And the public only see the block of times that are available. What a such good conversation. Anybody has, actually, I'm going to close with this. Is there a book that you guys read throughout this year or any time in your career that impact how you grew your career to get here today?
Keep my finish.
Yeah, I read a
go ahead.
Yeah, a book. It's called High Performance Habits, and it's written by Brendan Burchard. Really gets into that mindset piece that we talked about earlier, in terms of shifting beliefs, but also gives some really practical tools. and strategies and prompting questions that you then do as you read the book. And it's been significant in terms of just shifting some major beliefs around entrepreneurship and real estate. At the end of the day, we're all business owners, and we all have a responsibility to ourselves to manage our own time. And I came out of a corporate world where for 18 years, I was showing up for someone else. And then all of a sudden, when I had to show up for myself, there's a major dynamic that changes. And for me, that book, High Performance Habits, I highly recommend it. Some of you might be familiar with Brendan Burchard. Great speaker and voice in that self-development, leadership of self space. And I would encourage you to read that book, work through it. Like I say, every chapter there's questions, and there's some great tools in there that will make you a better person, first and foremost. But then when you translate it into your real estate business, it can really up-level what you do, how you do it. And it was a real powerful read.
Yes, amazing. Thank you. Thank you. In conclusion, I want to thank you all for sharing your thoughts and strategies today. It's clear that success in real estate begins with clarity, right? Knowing the profiles of the people we serve and building strategies that align with those profiles. Whether it's navigating market shifts, setting meaningful goals, or even attracting agents, everything stems from understanding who you are working for and what they need. So, thank you. Let's take this clarity into 2025, setting up goals that truly matter, right, to our lives and to our business that can support personal and professional fulfillment. As we close, let's keep asking, who are we creating for? When we answer that question, everything else falls into place. Looking forward to continue this conversation and hearing about your success stories next year again. And I hope you all had a good time. Victoria, you going to say?
Sorry, I was just thinking, I'm sorry. I was like, I just want to add, if we're talking about books, I was just thinking about it. I would say the number one book that's influenced me, and I reread it, I always reread it, is Think and Grow Rich. And I do recommend that for everybody. That is a great book. It really helps you focus on desire and focus and so much more. There's like 18 principles, really great.
There is one. I've done that one a few times.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, take it away.
You guys are the best. I am so happy that we got all of our audio worked out. If you are watching this on YouTube, I want you to subscribe and smash that like button. Garrett, Jason, Leo, Victoria, Tony, thank you so much for bringing it this week. I know a few of you are back next week. We're going to have Leo on next week. Garrett's going to be here. He's going to be moderating. Jason, you're coming back next week, so I'm really looking forward to it. Any of you icons in the audience that are watching the show today live in EXP World, if you are in an active icon benefit year, guess what? You get a couple points just for watching the show. So, I think we're going to celebrate that with some stars and some fireworks. And I'm going to wish you all the best of weekends. Today is Friday the 13th, which, you know what? We're changing the vibe of Friday the 13th. It's a lucky day. So get out there, apply the knowledge you learned today, and make